The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, madam. Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Welcome to all. I am Dr. Laxmi, Lydia from Indian Institute of Information Technology. I welcome you all on behalf of IUCEE webinar. Today's topic is MongoDB, a NoSQL database. So from many webinars, in many webinars, I have been speaking about big data analytics. So this is a new concept we are discussing, that is about MongoDB. Again, in the next coming webinars, we will discuss much about big data analytics. But since it is a new technology, so I want to give the information regarding this. So I have introduced this concept here. MongoDB, the basic question here is it's a NoSQL. So already we are aware of SQL, that is called as structured query language. SQL is a structured query language, and whereas the MongoDB is a NoSQL. So MongoDB has been, the word Mongo has been derived from the humongous, that is called large amount of data, which is completely unstructured. So what is the meaning of NoSQL? Please, this is the time where we require the clarity between the SQL and NoSQL. So we are aware of the SQL, that is called as structured query language. But now we are living in the era of NoSQL. So what is the meaning of NoSQL is, it is not like no to SQL. It is not like no to SQL. It is something like not only SQL. So please keep this thing information that no is not for no to SQL, saying no to SQL. It is not only SQL. The meaning is nothing but along with SQL, something else is also there. That is thing we are going to learn in this webinar. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database, and it has various importance. That is, MongoDB is a cross-platform document-oriented database. It is a cross-platform document-oriented database, and the basic importance of the MongoDB is it provides high performance, high availability, and easy scalability. And the most important is it is a document-based database, like how we are managing our MS Word files and text files. In the same manner, this MongoDB also bases here, right? So we are already aware of the concept of database. So a database is nothing but a physical container for collections, and each database gets its own set of files on the file system. And whereas with coming to the MongoDB, the MongoDB comes in the form of client-server architecture. So how the SQL also works with the client-server architecture, the same manner even MongoDB also works with the client-server architecture. But the only difference between the RDBMS and the MongoDB is the only difference we can find out, that is called as the regarding the SQL and the NoSQL. Right. So what is the background behind the MongoDB is, the background behind the MongoDB is the creator and the name and language. So who is the creator for the MongoDB is Tengen is the company which is responsible for the creation of the MongoDB, and the short name is actually the name MongoDB has been derived from the word called as humongous. If you take the word humongous, so M-O-N-G-O has been taken. So the word that is called as a MongoDB, that is called a NoSQL database. So the word humongous denotes that it is a huge amount of unstructured data, semi-structured data can be managed by using the MongoDB. And the MongoDB has been developed by using the language called as C++. The MongoDB has been derived or developed by using the language called as C++. So what is a MongoDB is? MongoDB is an open source document-oriented database designed with both scalability and developer agility in mind. And instead of storing our data in the form of tables and rows, we store in the form of JSON like a document with dynamic schemas and schema-free, or what is called as schemaless. So what is JSON and BSON is, our SQL is based on BSON mechanism, that's called the binary script oriented model it is based on, whereas the MongoDB is based on JSON as well as the BSON mechanism, both it manages here. So we are going to get the benefit of JSON also as well as the that means the JavaScript object notation benefit also we are going to get, as well as the BSON, that is called the binary encoded format also we are going to get the benefits. So that is the major benefit you are going to get from the MongoDB. And it is schemaless. What is the meaning of schemaless is, whereas in the SQL we have all got schemas, serial number, student name, marks, we are having the schemas. So it is completely schema oriented, but MongoDB is not schema oriented, it's a schemaless or a schema free. Why it is schemaless and schema free? Because MongoDB is basically focusing on the unstructured data or semi-structured data. So that is the major importance of the MongoDB. With concern to the SQL does not bother about the unstructured information. The SQL always bothers about the structured data. Therefore, schemas are required for the MongoDB. For the SQL, that is called the Oracle or MySQL, all those kind of stuff, right? Whereas with concern to MongoDB, it is a schema-free or schema-less because it works basically with the structured data, or basically works with the unstructured data and semi-structured data kind of things. Again, the basic goal of MongoDB is to bridge the gap between key value stores which are fast and scalable. So, discussing about the key value pair, we are already aware of key value mechanism with concern to MapReduce functioning. So here also the key value stores makes the content generation more fast and more scalable, and the goal is to bridge the gap between the key value stores and the relational database. So to whatever the bridge gap is there, we want to remove it with help of that. So that is the overall motto or goal of the MongoDB. So to improve the scalability and performance, and to improve the memory caches, and to involvement, to improve to incorporate the key value stores. This is all that means whatever the gap we have between the RDBMS and the MongoDB, or that is called as a NoSQL. So that gap we are going to remove it with the help of the MongoDB. So that is the importance and the goal of the MongoDB. Now, what is the kind of data model followed by the MongoDB is, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what is the kind of data model followed by the MongoDB is using BSON, that is called the binary script object notations. Developers can easily map to modern object-oriented language without complicated ORM layers. And BSON is a binary format in which 0 or more key value pairs are stored as a single entity. So as I already said you that MongoDB is based on the BSON and JSON. So the benefit of JSON as well as be adopted and can be implemented. And It is lightweight and traversable and as well as efficient. See the example of the data. So hello world, this is the format, right? And the BSN format, we are writing something here, and it has got its own identities and all. The representation part we are writing here. There are 4 categories are there. What are the 4 important categories are is that is called the key value pair based database is one, big table is one, graph is one, and document store is one. So with concern to key value, these are the products will come Amazon's Dynamo paper. These are all the even the LinkedIn's. These are all managed by the key value. Even our MongoDB also falls in this category. What about the big table category is Google's big table paper. Cassandra is one more important thing. If time permits, we are going to discuss about the Cassandra also in our webinars, because the 2 famous NoSQL products in the market is HBase is one, Cassandra is one, and MongoDB is one. So HBase is a product of again is a component of again a Hadoop ecosystem. So if time permits, we are going to discuss about the HBase also. And Google Map Table paper and Cassandra developed by Facebook's, and now it is an Apache product. Okay, and it's a part of Apache project, right? Graph-based categories, we are having mathematical graph theories and FlogDB twitters. So these are all based on the graph-based category. Coming to document store, what is the document store is our MongoDB falls under the document store. So these are the categorization of the database here. One is the key value pair, big table, graph, and document store. But MongoDB is a document-oriented database, but internally, when we are going to discuss, internally again it forms a key value pairs. But when you come for the key value pair type of documents, there we don't have document directly. Key value operations are there, but there is a market demand for more for Cassandra, more for MongoDB, more for the HBase. There is a more demand. Even Couchbase also, CouchDB also increasing. There is a more demand in the market. Yes, I would like to show the demand of the market demand with the help of the graphs. So this is the graph. This shows that how MongoDB has generated the demand here. From the year of January 2010, the graph is increasing and increasing. Almost all major companies started adopting the MongoDB. Even Oracle, like such a big companies, they started its own NoSQL product, because to meet the competition, so they are making use of, again, the Oracle also came as a NoSQL product, right? So this is the graph indicating how the demand of MongoDB has been increased now. And Jasper Sort Big Data Index also showing the demand for MongoDB, the document-oriented NoSQL database, the kind of improvement, the demand of the MongoDB is been shown here. The Google searches also showing the demand of the MongoDB, and even these are all the different kinds of graphs. With the help of these different graphs, we are showing that how it has been leading to provide the service as a NoSQL. So again, I'm making a stress and a point that NoSQL is not to the NoSQL, but it is saying that not only SQL means what. Whatever the things are there in the SQL, that is called a structured query language, along with that something else is there. What is that something else that we have to discuss now, right? So yeah, coming to this now, NoSQL. So we have divided already in the previous slide, we have divided the key value pairs, big table, graph, and document store. So that we are seeing again here. So key value, so what are the these are the products I'm listing, which are very famous in the market, and big companies are adopting, and more opportunities are there, and demand is there, and even if we can include in and we can involve in our curriculum also. The main motto of providing the concept is nothing but to show the importance of that products and how the product has been used in the market and what is the demand. That is the main motto of this webinar. So key value, in the key value type of database, these are the products are there. We are having and graph database, we are having hypergraph DB, Of course, Neo4j also has got more demand. And coming to the document-oriented database, we have got more demand for MongoDB. Of course, the next demand comes for the TouchDB. Coming to the column-oriented database, that is called the Cassandra and HBase, both are in high demand. These are all the high demanded products. MongoDB is one, TouchDB is one, Cassandra and HBase. But all are NoSQL only, but even though they are NoSQL, they fall under different categorization. One is a MongoDB falls under document-oriented database, whereas Cassandra and HBase falls under the column family. So how they are different with one another, we cannot discuss in this webinar. We will take a separate webinar for the Cassandra, separate webinar for the HBase. Then we are going to differentiate how the column family NoSQL database is separate from document-oriented NoSQL database. Yeah, coming to the again one more revision we are going to do, that is called as what is a MongoDB. Already we have discussed about the MongoDB. So it is a cross-platform document-oriented database which provides a high performance, high availability, and easy scalability. And it has some advantages. What are the advantages? Is the basic advantage here you are having is it is a schema-less, and structure of single object is very clear because it is document-oriented database. So these are the benefits we are going to get for an understanding purpose. I'm going to make a note of these advantages. I'm sorry. Yeah, so some of the advantages is that schema-less is one important advantage, and the structure of a single object is clear. Why structure of a single object is clear? Because it is document-oriented. Okay, so single object and no complex joins will be there. That is one advantage. And how we are going to do the tuning operation, here also we can perform the tuning. All things whichever we do in the SQL, all things will be included along. That's what I'm saying every time. The NoSQL means what? Not only SQL, along with SQL something else you are going to see. That is what the thing. That's called as what? In the SQL we are going to have only structured data, whereas in the NoSQL we are going to have structured data, unstructured data, semi-structured data. In the form of a single object we are going to have all these things. That is going to have a clarity here. And the one more important advantage of is the scale out is very easy here, and conversion or mapping, we can say as conversion or we say as mapping, becomes more simple. And internal memory for storing the information or data is very good management. So very quick access of internal memory management system is there. So these are all some of the advantages with the help of the MongoDB. So some of the practically we are going to implement all these things, and how the software can be downloaded and how it can be installed. That steps also I'm going to show in this webinar. So these are all the advantages of using the MongoDB, and why we should use MongoDB. This is an important question we should keep in our mind. The basic reason of using the MongoDB is nothing but it's a document-oriented storage, and data is stored in the form of JSON style of document, and indexing is done as like the SQL, and replication and high availability is available in the MongoDB. And we are having a new concept called as shading, that is called the auto shading. What is the auto shading? We are going to see. Rich queries is done and fast in place updates. Why all the companies started? Why there is a more demand? Why there is a more demand is because of fast accessing of data. People are going for the MongoDB. Why fast accessing is there? There are certain reasons are there. See, we want to work with the unstructured data and semi-structured data, and we want to access them very fast. Then automatically we require something new thing, and that is called as what here? That is called as a document-oriented database. That is called as MongoDB. So these are all some new features which are going to find out. That is called the indexing on any attribute is possible, and duplication is possible, and auto shading is done, and rich queries are done, and fast in accessing or updations. So these are all the reasons of why we should not go with the MongoDB. And the most important is MongoDB, there is a professional support is there by there's a professional support for the MongoDB. So that is one major advantage of using the MongoDB. And here we need to understand the most important thing about replications, why there is a shading is there, and what are the benefits of all these things. We are going to see one by one. So the MongoDB is a general purpose, with concern to rich data model, full-featured indexes, and sophisticated query language. This is a wonderful thing which you can find in the MongoDB. And very simple and easy to use, that is called the easy mapping to object-oriented coding. So whatever every developer wants only two things. What are the two important things that developer wants is, the first is the data, any kind of data, maybe a structured data or unstructured data or semi-structured data, could be and easily managed in a single database. For structured data, one database; for unstructured data, another database. So it creates a complexity. So the main goal of the MongoDB is to overcome the bridge between the SQL and NoSQL, or in single term, to overcome the bridge gap between the RDBMS and to the newly arrived product. That is the overall motto here. So once the data has been managed in one database, maybe the structured or unstructured, in a simpler fashion, no complexities, no rules and regulations should not be there. Then in that case, because now the generation of structured data is become very slow compared to the generation of unstructured data, because of involvement of a lot of social media networks in the new era, with the help of the Facebooks, Twitters, LinkedIn's and all, creating a lot of unstructured data. So how to manage all those data, how to implement, how to access them in a fast manner, how to provide the queries, how to perform a quick analysis. For all these things, we require a quick database, that we are making use of a MongoDB as a document-oriented database. And the developer wants one more important thing. One more important thing is, whatever the kind of application he is writing, either by using Java or by using a .NET framework or by using a PHP or by any kind of things, maybe a Java server pages, so whatever it could be, the developer always expects that the connectivity to the backend should be done in a simpler fashion. That is very simple. We are using the MongoDB. That means no complexity is there in making the connection also. Something like this we are having. Oh, something goes wrong. So we can see here, just this is my front end and my database I'm making use of. Right. So whatever the kind of application we are making use of it should be in a position to access this data. What is this is, I'm just writing it as a MongoDB, and this is my app, my application. Maybe I have developed by using Java or by using .NET framework, etc. So when this kind of facility is available, then every developer will try to access the MongoDB. That is a major. Because of that reason only the graph is increasing. The usage of MongoDB is increasing more and more these days. Okay, and it is easy to use because the mapping to object-oriented code is simple. What I have explained just now. And the most important, the sweetness is native language drivers in all the popular languages. When these are all things are there, even though MongoDB manages whatever the SQL is doing, whatever the unstructured wants, what are the semi-structured wants. But if this kind of connectivity is not there between the front-end application, then that database becomes fails. But it has proved it with the help of these features that is called as native language drivers in all the pop languages. Simple to set up and manage. The setup is very simple. You need to download the MongoDB as a server, and you have to install, and then you can in our machine itself we can work as a client and server. The MongoDB is a server, and just simple as a Mongo as a client. So we're going to as a client server. You can work as like Mongo. This is our Mongo as a client. This is our MongoDB as a server. So this is my server. I'm assuming MongoDB is my server. The word itself is a MongoDB for server, and Mongo is my client, right? So once the first step is that we need to start the server. How we are going to start the server? By saying as a MongoDB. So at the after installation, we are going to start the server, and we are going to keep it aside, like how the Oracle server starts, then that all the clients connects. The same manner here also the MongoDB server starts and the client connects. The client connects by saying as a Mongo. So the Mongo is a client here, and the client connects to MongoDB, and the MongoDB, the Mongo that is called the client makes works. Right. And MongoDB is fast and scalable. What is a fast and scalable is operates at in-memory speed wherever possible and whenever it is possible. So in the memory only it operates. That is the reason it is more fast. That is a more major advantage. It does not occupy more space. So ultimately we require certain things. What things? The memory space should not be used much more. Short memory and the occupation of memory should be very less. Quick, fast accessing, connectivity to any kind of app, then we will be happy. So operates at in memory speed wherever possible, and there is an inbuilt auto shading is there. What is a shading is the kind of thing is nothing but here the major purpose of shading is database system with large data sets and high throughput application can challenge the capacity of single server. How they can, their challenges could be what? The high query rates, which can exact the CPU capacity. So all these things, at that time we require the approach called as shadings. We require the approach called as shadings here. The shading can be done as a we can call the shading as a horizontal scaling also. We can call them as a let us not deviate. We will have a separate slide for the shading and replication also, not now. Yeah. The next is about the schema free. What is the schema free is MongoDB does not need any kind of predefined data schema. So there is no S number, no S name, no date of birth, nothing like that. No built-in schemas are there. Whenever we want, we will put it. So this is what my schema I have defined. It's not fixed. I have defined name, eyes, birthplace, alias, LOC, boss, all these things I have specified here, right? And every document could have different data. So this is one document which has different data, another document with different data, another document different data, another document different data, right? So these are all the different kinds of things which are going to have. That is why we call it as a schema free. MongoDB is fast and scalable. Why it is fast and scalable is we have better data locality. We have better data locality. We have a relational here and we have a MongoDB. We can see here in relational we have some data here, some data here and some data here. Whereas in MongoDB what I am doing is I am trying to put in one location itself. So quick memory location is going to happen with concern to the MongoDB. Whereas with concern to the relational, what is going to happen as and when it may take in any place. So the reference takes lot of time. So from moving from this location to this location, this location to this location, it takes a lot of time. So to overcome that, what we are doing is we are going to the MongoDB. Of course, that is not the primary reason. The primary reason is what? Only SQL is supported in the relational, whereas in the MongoDB, along with the SQL, something else is there that is called as NoSQL. That is called not only SQL. So the reason is it is in the in-memory caching. It is called as what? In-memory caching. It is fast and it is scalable because of in-memory caching. That is a major benefit of using the MongoDB. And it is a distributed architecture. Its architecture is completely distributed here. So we have a individual replications are there. So we have a scalings are there, that is called the horizontal scalings or vertical scalings we call as a. And because of all these things, with this we have got a fast memory access, and it provides, this distributed architecture provides the scalability facility. This provides the fast in memory, whereas the scalability provides the the distributed architecture provides the scalability. So we just can't get any faster than the way MongoDB handles our data. So this has been said by the world person, and he has said that they have started making use of it because of the fastness and the scalability. And MongoDB, yes, we have got so many facilities, so many features, all these things. Apart from that, we have everybody speaks about at the end, after listening the beauty of the MongoDB, at the end, the question rises for the security. How about the security? So the question rises about the security here. So security, with concern to security, we have the security about the SSL and authorization at the database level, security at the roadmap. So with concern to the SSL, that is called the secure socket layers, we have a standard in the MongoDB. We have a standard security technology for establishing an encrypted links, and it has the authorization at the database level, which provides read-only access or write-only access by the administrators. As well as it has security roadmap by using the PAM, that is called as the pluggable authentication modules, and auditing, cell level security, common criteria certification. So all these things provides the security. That means with the security slide, we can come to a conclusion that how far the MongoDB is good and how far the MongoDB is providing the solution for the existing complaints, for the existing problems. And with this, we can come to a conclusion that why the major companies have adopted the MongoDB for their future works, and why the graph of the MongoDB has been increased. We can come to a conclusion with this. NoSQL is popular for development and deployment of data-centric applications. So why many companies are going for NoSQL is because of this reason only. What is the reason? It is easy for development and easy for deployment. So both are possible, because in the previous just a couple of seconds I said that every developer wants only two things. What is the security towards data, and all kind of data could be managed, as well as the database should be accessible by the any kind of front-end applications. So then it will become simple for the developer. So that is why the development is easy, as well as the deployment at the any location becomes easy. So that is why it becomes a data-centric applications. And MongoDB makes it easy to code, scale, and operate NoSQL. And Tengen is the company behind the MongoDB. Let us discuss about the basics of MongoDB. What are the basics of MongoDB we are going to discuss, because till now we have been discussing about the theoretical aspects only. We will discuss about the important terminologies we are going to discuss. So MongoDB instance may have zero or more database. It can have one database, two database, any number of database it can have. And a database may have zero or more collection. What is the collection? Again, we have to discuss now. A collection may have zero or more documents. What is the document? We have to discuss. Document may have one or more fields. These are the terminologies which you have to remember. So, MongoDB can have one or more database. A database can have one or more collections. Collection may have one or more documents. Document can have one or more fields. So, MongoDB indexes functions much like the RDBMS counterpart. So, in the RDBMS, there is a by default simple index will be there. Similarly, in the NoSQL also, there will be a simple index will be there. There will be index will be there, which is a counterpart, and it is a inbuilt part. We don't need to index part. It's an inbuilt process. Of course, if you want the indexing style should be changed, we can implement that. But even though we don't touch the index part, it is inbuilt part in the NoSQL also as like this SQL. The most important is what is MongoDB terminologies with the RDBMS. Collection versus table, document versus row, field versus column. That's it, not more than that. Whatever we call as a table, we call a collection. Whatever we call as a row, we call as a document. Whatever we call as a column, we call as a field. And this is all called, that means what? A database will be having a n number of collections. A collection will be having a n number of, a collection can have n number of documents. A document can have n number of fields. In a simple terminology of RDBMS, a database can have n number of tables. A table can have n number of rows. A rows can have n number of columns, and likewise. So, collections are strict about what goes in it, as it is a schema-less. Whereas RDBMS is schema-based. MongoDB is schema-less. So how it goes on is in action we are showing now. We are going to start. As I said to you that Mongo is a client here. I am connecting as a client here. So once the client is connected, it's going to say show the version, and then use command as like to get into the database, as like the MySQL queries will be there. So we are going to use the insert command, as usual commands, find commands, as like simple commands only. So these are all some of the screenshots I am showing to you. Yeah, some more screenshots. How the insertion takes place. Find command to find particular data, like how we are going to use select command followed by where clause. Same manner we are going to use find here. And so why we use MongoDB is we use MongoDB for simple queries, make sense with most web application, easier and faster integration of data, not well suited for heavy and complex transaction systems. So we use this MongoDB because of these are all the reasons. So this is very important thing now. In RDBMS we call database. In MongoDB also we call as database. In RDBMS we call as a table. We call as a collection. Of course, we call as a collection also. In MongoDB, row we call as a document, and this document is based on the JSON and BSON concept. Column we call as a field. Index as index only. Join we call as a what? Embedded document. Join we call as a embedded document. Foreign key here we call as a references. Partition we call as a shadings. So these are the new things which are going to see in the MongoDB. So the remaining thing is as usual, database is as usual like database. Table is called as a collection, row is called as document, columns is called as a field, index is called as usual index, join we call as the embedded document, foreign key we call as the references, partition we call as shadings. So how it goes on? It goes on like this. It goes like this. You can see here, DB is my database, user, I'm having a document. In that I'm having my user, DB is my database, user is my collection, find one is my document. What about this age? Age, and this is a very important part. Age and 39. This is called the key value pair. What is the key? Age. 39 is a value. So ultimately, ultimately the outcome is coming with the key value only. So whatever the concepts deals with the key value, it makes the quick access. So that is the more major benefit here we are going to see. Again we can see, coming to the concept of ID. Here by default ID will be created for every individual document, and ID will be created. Even for the SQL also, whenever we create a row, automatically a row ID will be created. That is called as the row ID. If you want to see the row IDs, you can say select row ID from the so and so table, means you are going to get all the row IDs. Because very frequently asked questions is that delete a row, first row, I don't know serial number, I don't know S name, I don't know, but I won't delete the serial number, I won't delete the first row. How can delete? If you know the serial number, you can say delete from EMP or delete from student where S number equals to 1, something like that. But I don't know serial number, I don't know name, I don't know anything, then how I'm going to delete? I'm going to delete with the help of the row ID. So here also, in NoSQL also, in MongoDB also, an ID will be created automatically. I am not going to create automatically. Okay, one more important thing is, if you want to create your own ID, you can create. That facility is there. But in SQL, that own ID creation facility is not there. That is only SQL engine is going to allocate the row ID. But in MongoDB, if you are going to allocate the ID, you can allocate the ID. Or if you are not bothered about the ID, the MongoDB itself is going to give the ID. That is called MongoDB is a server. Again, this is the key and value, key and value, key and value, key and values. What are the values? Reading and mountain biking. Again, key, and again it has a values. Key value, that means key has got a sub key and a value, sub key and a value. So overall, here one database, that is called the DB is the name of database. Collection is, this is your collection. DB is my database, collection is my document is one. In that we have got so many fields. These are all the fields, which is in term as a key value pairs. Right. Right. Let us see about some crude operations, that is called the create, read, update and delete. Let us see about some crude operations. The time is 4:15. Last 15 minutes. Yes. So create db dot collection. So if you want to create, I'm going to say db is my database, collection is a terminology which you are going to use in MongoDB or NoSQL. So here collection is nothing but a simple table. Insert is my command. So I'm going to insert in the document. Save to save, update to update. I'm going to update with the help of the queries. To read, I'm going to use the command called the find here. We're going to use the command called as find. For update, we're going to use update. For delete, we are going to use a remove. Short and sweet once again. For creation, I'm going to use insert, save and update. For reading, we're going to use find. Find means what? I want all. Find one means what? You are requiring, you are requesting for one row. You can say that. Find row, find one. That is called as a. And update means I want to update. Delete, I'm going to use the remove. So the crude operations are as simple as like the SQL. And so how we are going to implement this is, we are going to implement like this. db.user.insert. So I'm going to insert the first name, last name and age. So here db is my database, user is my collection, insert is my command, key value, key value, key value. This is one document, that is called one row. If I want to find and say I'll say db.user. What is the user? User is a collection. That is called the collection is nothing but table. Find. What do you want to find? I want to find. So I'm going to get all the data. So this is what the ID. Who has given this ID? The MongoD has given. What is the MongoD? MongoD is a server. What is the Mongo? Mongo is a client. That is called the client server architecture. So db.user.update for updation. I want to update the age of 39 to 40. And as well as I want to update the salary because salary was not given for the John. So I want remove means I'm saying db.user.remove first J. I'm going to remove the J starting with J before any characters could be there. And the most important is what are the important features? Already we have discussed the features. That is, it is a document-oriented storage, full index support, replication and high availability, auto shading, that is called as a partition. How the partition facility is not an automatic part in the SQL, whereas here partitions are automatic. Sorry, it's called shading is automatic. Querying, fast in place updates, and there is a concept of map reduce because every data is at last at the end of the stage they are dividing in the form of key value pair. Let us talk about the memory mapped files because how it is fast. We need to discuss that thing, how it is fast that we have to discuss. So a memory mapped file is a segment of virtual memory which has been assigned a direct byte for byte correlation with some portion of a file or a file resources. That is called as a MMAP. That is called the MMAP, which is nothing but here what we are going to do with the memory mapped operations are. So in MongoDB, automatically it uses all free memory. That means what are the free memories are there on the machine as its cache. It's going to take it as a cache. And system resource monitors shows that MongoDB uses lot of memory, but its usage is dynamic. The monitor shows it uses more memory, but it is dynamic. If it is free only, it is going to use, otherwise it's no. If another process suddenly needs half of the server's RAM, MongoDB will yield cache memory to the other process. So good MongoDB is. MongoDB is so good and so genuine. Whenever there is no one is there, no process is there, it uses all. It means what? It makes use the full time. Like when there is a semester is over, whenever we are free, we grab all that time for our research work. Similarly, when the classwork starts, what is going to happen? We are going to reduce the work of the research and we focus on the classwork. The same manner here also, the MongoDB, whenever there is a free is there, it makes use of full memory. So when we go for the monitors, then people will think that, okay, it's taking more memory. Why it's taking more memory? Because you are not using, that is why. When suddenly new process enters, then it makes freeze. So it's very genuine, very liberal. And technically what happens is the operating system's virtual memory subsystems manages the MongoDB memory. Why it happens? Because the operating system's virtual memory manages the MongoDB's memory. Because of that only it becomes more faster actually. So MongoDB will use as much as free memory as it can and swapping to disk as it needed. So whenever swapping is required, it makes the swapping. So deployment with enough memory to fit the applications working with datasets in RAM will achieve the best performance with this, with concern to the memory, with concern to the MongoDB. So this is the kind of things happens with concern to the memory map files, how the process memory space, how it starts, how it works. IDs like this. So 27017, 270. So but different locations. This is master 1, member 1, member 2, and member 3. And posting it with different IDs 0, 1, and 2. Of course, this is one more example of replica sets, redundancy and failures. So we have host 1, host 2, host 3. So it is going to provide the benefit the client can have to overcome the failovers and redundancies, zero downtime for upgrading and maintenance, and master-slave replications. Yes, the most important feature of one more feature of MongoDB is shading. So we have a partitions concepts in the SQL. So why we do partitions? We do partitions because I want all the BTech first year students should be in one partition, BTech second year students should be in another partition, BTech third year students should be in another partition. So likewise, I'm going to do the partitions. So that partitions I'm going to do with the help of shading, and the shading job is a inbuilt job, and we can perform it explicitly also basing on our criteria also. So here we can see here, this is one shading, this is another shading, this is another shading here. So here what happens is, maybe if you see here, this is all present in one shading, this is all present in another shading, this is all present in another shading, this is all present in another shading. So what is the advantage of using this kind of shadings? The basic advantage of using these shadings is, because many people get a doubt that what is the advantage of using so many shadings? See, I want this shading should be given to one user, or this data should be needed by some other user, this by some other user, this by some other user. So I am going to give this. So what is the advantage is, this user 2 does not require this data. So if this data is not partitioned, the entire data has to be given to the user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. It is a wastage of memory space, and the job time is waste. It's all and security level also, if you speak, the data which is not required for another user, if we are giving to another, for the other user, it doesn't the security problem will come. So this shared one data, whoever the user requires, I'm going to pass to them, and that user is responsible for the data. And this data is required by another department, I'm going to give to that department only, and they are responsible for their data. If anything goes wrong, they're responsible. If any malfunctioning has done, they are responsible. But if this shading concept or feature is not incorporated or involved, what is going to happen? The entire data I'm going to give to all 4 departments or 5 departments, and if any malfunctioning goes with the data, no department is responsible. So the administrator only, or the person who is responsible, that's called the administrator, is only responsible. So these are all the high level kind of mechanisms which we should implement for the maintenance of the database. So partitioning, shading is nothing but partitioning your data, scale write throughput, increase the capacity, and auto balancing. We are doing the auto balancing here. All data has been given to the one data to the mechanical department, one data to the mechanical department, aeronautical, civil, IUCEE, likewise. So these are all the departments that are responsible for these shadings. This shading is not nowhere responsible, this like that. That is the benefit of using the shadings. We can make use of mixed concept also. We have a mixed concept of shading as well as replicas. So shadings also we can mix with the replicas for the duplication purpose. So we can mix the shadings and replicas. Host 1, host 2, host 3 with these following IDs. We are going to config them, and then we can do the partition or share them, and can be shared with the client. That is called the mixed composition. Mixed composition is nothing but the combination of shadings and replicas. Yes, at last the map reduce. The map reduce, already I said you that we have a DB. DB is a database, collection is my table, and then They are making use of MapReduce. That means what? Internally, every job is functioning with the help of key value pair only. That means again, there is a splitting is done, sorting is done, merging is done. That means again, whatever things we have learned in the MapReduce concept of big data analytics, the same approach is going to be incorporated. But please don't misunderstand that MongoDB is somewhere connected to big data analytics of Hadoop. No, 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 no. The MapReduce concept they have incorporated in the MongoDB. MongoDB is a 10-gen product. MongoDB is a NoSQL. MongoDB is for maintenance of document-oriented databases, but they have incorporated the concept of MR code that is called MapReduce code, coding aspect. So the other features are nothing but it is very easy to use and easy to install, and the MongoDB has been provided by the universities, MongoDB universities, where we can provide detailed documentation. The most important thing is the APIs has been provided by JavaScript, Python, Ruby, Perl, Java, Scala, C#, C++. All these things can be made use of for writing the code for accessing the MongoDB database. And it is a community and it is an open source NoSQL database. Yeah, the most important is the theory of NoSQL. The theory of NoSQL is based on CAP. CAP is nothing but a consistency, availability, and partition. That is called the P is a partition. So, theory of NoSQL is based on CAP, consistency, availability, and partitions. CAP is on mini nodes. Nodes can contain replicas of partition of data. Consistency, all replica contain same version of data, which provides the security. Availability, system remains operational on pairing nodes also. And partition tolerance, multiple entry points, system remains operational on system splits here. So it is the theory of the NoSQL, or the theorem of NoSQL is CAP, that is called as a consistency, availability, and partitions. And our theory of NoSQL is like this. It is based on the CAP, MongoDB, that is called as the consistency and partitions, as well as the availability. As well as it is based on the acid basis, that is called as a atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, and basically it is the availability of CPU, that is called the consistency and the partitions, and it is a soft state eventually and consistent, that is called the atomicity and the partitionings. So it is also based on the acid basis here. So coming to the last slide, that is called the installation part. You can download the MongoDB with the help of the downloads.mongodb.org. Extract the jar file. You can use the MongoDB for Linux based or Windows also. We can make use it. This I'm telling about the Ubuntu platform. Make any directory where you want to store the data, and then start the server, that is by saying as a MongoDB, and start the client as a Mongo. That's it. The job is over. You can start writing the queries as ever, the things, whatever the queries I have told you in the slides, and then you can maintain your NoSQL databases, and there you can have the structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data in a document fashion. You can maintain. So this is all about the MongoDB, and the most important thing is it can be implemented at any level, and any programming environment can also access, because in the previous slide I have shown you that almost all the APIs are supporting this MongoDB. Ruby, Perl, Java, Scala, all the things are provided, all the latest languages and high-level languages. Thanks for your attention, and thank you very much for attending the MongoDB webinar. If time permits, we will see about in the next webinar about the how the Cassandra works, because the most upcoming column-oriented database, as like the MongoDB as a document-oriented database, but both are NoSQLs only, not only SQL. That means along with the SQL, something else is there that is called as, you have learned, that is called as shadings, replications, the memory management systems and all. If you have any questions, you can please pass. Because as the time is 3:30 to 4:30, I have already taken 5 more minutes. Please pass the questions.
Unmuted.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you provide comparison for MongoDB security with other databases?
Hello, I can't hear you.
Can you provide comparison for MongoDB security with other databases?
Oh, okay. You're talking about, okay. So coming to the other databases, see, that's what I'm telling from the beginning of the webinar only, that SQL is only for maintenance of structured data, your enterprise level data, and growth of enterprise level data is very less. It's almost like this, very low. But coming growth of unstructured data is gone like this. So SQL is saying that I can't handle this unstructured data. I can't, I'm saying, it is saying. So with consent to NoSQL, we are going with this. So coming to the security level, we can go for we can implement the socket level security. We can implement the pluggable authentication modules we can implement. So those, that means not only with consent to the database, the other level of kind of security we can implement, which protects the entire system as well as the database. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that we are waiting for more questions.
Hello?
No more questions, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.